Hello, AVS. Good morning.
And in case we don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Welcome to the first ever episode of the AVS Podcast. Today we have...
Hey, Shubhajit, chill now. Let's greet them in our way.
So that was Kostov. Please introduce yourself now.
It's been a nice...
Okay, we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Next up, we have the girls sports captain, the secretary general of AVS MUN, and the girls tennis captain, the awardee for excellence in craft design and technology, the debater of the year, the MUN delegate of the year, the artist of the year, the sportswoman of the year, and the awardee for the Angshumanna Trophy for general proficiency, and the winner of 3 ties, Anushka Joshi.
Oh God, thank you so much, Shubhajit. Those were some very flattering words.
Well, Anushka, you do deserve it. So now let's get to the point. You're basically here to talk about craft design and technology and art in this school.
Yes, Shubhajit. Despite the short time at hand, the art, craft, design, and technology exhibitions this year showcased creative art and craft pieces with top-notch aesthetics. Not only could you see the regular artists at work to finish their paintings just in time for Founders, but the art exhibition saw the handiwork of various new budding artists.
Like me.
How can I forget my wonderful square?
Anushka, please don't interrupt Anushka. Anushka, please continue.
The paintings displayed ranged from the Impressionism period, including artists like Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh, to abstract art inspired by artists like Picasso and Raza. On a personal note, I enjoyed the exhibition this year as I got to create an artwork based on Gustav Klimt's style from the Gold period. The painting I took inspiration from was The Kiss, a painting that used real gold leaf, adding to the attraction of the painting that depicted eternal love. Of course, I couldn't use real gold, although I replaced that neat with gold and silver paint, which shone beautifully in the light.
Okay, Anushka, now please tell us something about the craft design and technology department. What was that like?
The Craft Design and Technology exhibition, ORCID, included the display of the work done by students from IPSC Visual Arts Fest. We had string arts, digital illustrations, macrame, mixed media collages, digital manipulation works, and recycled design works.
And what about the colony on Venus? What do you have to say about that?
We also got to see the proposals sent in by Team AVS for the Space Settlement Design Competition for the Foundation Society, organized by an educational branch of NASA Atlantis. Our team won the first runners-up position in the quarterfinals of the Indian Nationals, and our task at hand was to build a research-based space settlement on Venus.
Hey, you guys became scientists also or what?
So, Sir Umesh? Oh no, Shubhajit, yes, I'll continue. Okay. Now, one also saw the glamorous dresses designed by our promising designers who wore their work of art for a professional photo shoot. The exhibition, like every year, was fascinating and a real treat to the eyes and left us with a feeling of happiness amidst the pandemic.
Next up we have Tanisha.
Oof, it's Tanisha.
Tanisha Bhadra, the editor-in-chief of AVE.
Thank you for the introduction, Shubhajit.
Oh, that's completely alright, Tanisha. So, as I recall, you did have a chance to interact with the chief guest one-on-one. So, how was that experience like?
Well, it was the 3 of us hosting them. Ma'am once said that there are only 2 ways of staying young. The first is by continuing to commit the follies of the youth, and the other is to simply stay close and candid with young people. This is how Mrs. Gitanjali JB was introduced to me for the first time. Of what I could gather from the talk over TV hosted with Mr. Wangchuk and Mrs. Gitanjali JB, she is a generation rendition of what we call that girl. And he is one good old happy-go-lucky chap, loves going with the flow. You can tell by now that the 2 of them are very, very different people, right? So instead of seeing everything the exact same way, they simply agree to disagree. They complement each other like yin and yang. While she has her day organized in pretty planners, he goes ahead as ideas strike.
Well, they were a very unique duo. But Tanisha, tell me one thing that about them that stuck to you the most, that you like the most, and that you still think about, and that you'll never let go about them.
Tough question. I mean, Shubhajit, it's hard to choose because there were a couple of things. But I think this one stuck to me the most, that as an educationist, ma'am has a completely different approach on parenting as well. So, growing up, she read Indian history and she was dissatisfied with how Indian history always followed a Western narrative. So, she herself authored books on Indian history, written from an Indian's eye for her son to read. That to me was an extremely progressive idea that she left us with.
Wow. Okay, Tanisha, so what about Mr. Sonam Wangchuk? What was one thing that he said that caught on to you the most?
Oh, him. He is, as I said, our good old happy-go-lucky chap. He isn't afraid to make mistakes nor to be laughed at. Besides being a techie person and an intellectual powerhouse, he's super jolly at heart. What struck me the most was the idea that it is not the students that fail the system, rather it is the system that fails the students. He himself set an example through his institution that a huge chunk of learning happens not from textbooks but from experience.
Okay, so Kostov, tell us, you have been in the school for around 10 years, I guess. How has Founders evolved over the past 10 years, according to you?
I feel like I think everyone would agree with me on this. The quality of Founders is actually determined by the quality of food. Nothing really matters to the students more than the food itself. So if the food is good, Founders is good. Food is bad, Founders is bad.
Kostov, please don't spill the truth out here. Okay. Now let's actually get serious.
We'll get serious. Okay, Shubhajit. I remember before we would have this 1 month preparation for Founders. It would be called the Founders Schedule. And everything about it would be so dope. We would have less of classes. We would have practices during pre-dinner and post-dinner. And everything would be so fun. People in productions would be, I would dance. Or if I'm acting, I would act. Everybody would be busy with.
And what about now, Kostov?
Now, obviously, due to the circumstances that are not under our own control, we need to be able to adapt to however the situation is. So, yeah, Founders is Founders.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear from you. Okay, thank you, Kostov, so much for your thoughts. So for the next speaker,
Okay, before that, I just wanted to say, all things considered, from being the junior that stands in line watching seniors butt in front of them, to being the senior that actually butts in, it has been a wonderful ride.
Thank you so much, Kostov. Now I would like to call upon Kostov B. Arya, the cultural captain, boys, to carry forward this podcast.
Okay. Now we have with us Kuhu Bakliwal, our dance captain. So Kuhu, I will ask you about Founders Dance Drama production this year. So how was that experience like to mesmerize the whole audience with your performance?
Yes, Costa, right. So this Founders, we performed Mukti Jujaru, a dance drama, which was based on the life story of Kanaklata Barua, a 17-year-old freedom fighter of Assam who fought for the independence.
Yes, and also Mukundo Kakoti, Pioli Fukon, and all those names that we often forget to acknowledge.
Yes, exactly. And I think it had an amazing impact on the audience as everybody was mesmerized and felt deeply patriotic. Also, during our entire dance drama, we incorporated various dance forms of Assam to acknowledge the cultural heritage.
And abiding by the COVID protocols.
Yes, it certainly wasn't an easy task handling 80 odd kids at once, but I think Ma'am Ruby did an amazing job at it. And Kostav, I even had a great time performing with you.
Kuhu, I will forever reminisce about the memories I made doing the dance drama. It was my first ever dance production. And truly, playing Jyoti Prasad Agarwala on stage, it was a huge responsibility and I'm so proud that I did that. Last question to you. How does it feel to be the part of your last dance production in AVS?
This was my last performance in AVS. I, being a performer, I'm deeply connected to the stage and to this dance school. I think it was a very emotional journey for all of us, as this was our entire batch's last performance. Despite of our busy schedules, we gave our best. I think I have been part of this dance school for the 8 years now, and it has formed my identity in school. I will be forever grateful to this school because it has given me so much. I will miss the practice hours, me getting scolded by my MIC and everything about it.
You made all of us emotional too, Kuhu.
So, Jyotishmoy, I remember witnessing the music production from the point of view of the audience. And it just gave me chills. And I am sure that this was true for the entire audience. So, what about from the point of view of a performer? How did you feel performing such a wonderful production?
As a performer, it was a really mesmerizing experience for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process a lot. We fused Western musical touch with Bella Ciao. So on the occasion of 75th Independence Festival, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we prepared an exquisite orchestral piece of art with the theme patriotism. See, we believe that music has no language. It's either in Assamese or Hindi, Bangla or English. It just visualizes the universal impact that Indian music has given us. No matter what the language is, the melody, the emotion is flown through every individual.
Well, Jyotishmoy, I remember seeing students back at home performing in the music production as well, which was a really unique feature of the whole music production, and it was really thoughtful for the music school to think about the students back at home as well. So, Jyotishmoy, this is just your second year in the school, and your tenure is about to come to an end. Can you please share your experience with everyone listening? How has the journey been like?
Although my journey was a short one, I can just sum it up in one word: precious. The recognition I got, the memories I made, and the people I got introduced to will always, always remain close to my heart. And I will really miss these moments a lot.
Thank you so much, Jyotishmoy.
Haha, Shubho. Now, let me get straight to the point. Eplay.
Yes, Kostov, the Eplay. The Eplay that we acted and edited for 55 minutes, I guess. A 55-minute long Eplay, all ready in just 15 days. For the first time ever.
Yes, that Eplay. Now, tell us a few words. Performing as the dramatics captain of AVS.
Well, Kostov, this was the first time that we did an e-play for founders. And I guess you know that we are very good at introducing new things. Did you forget? We did 8 plays for Interhouse.
I remember. Wow, what a task that was. But this time it was clearly different from Interhouse drama because the whole process was offline, but the product came out online. So give us a glimpse.
Well, of course it was different. When Mr. Shantam came to me with the idea, I was pretty nervous. But I guess that's how you are in the beginning of creating new things. And from that to following COVID protocols while being in a room filled with around 8 to 10 people, and yeah, it was a really tough job for us. But what I believe is that it was even more tougher for the people behind the scene, the two men behind the camera, Barnum and Shreyansh. Well, we have one of them with us right now to share his experience behind the scenes. So, Barnum, would you like to share your experience behind the camera?
Well, thank you, Shubhajit, so much. Talking about my experience in this Eplay, I think from my journey as a filmmaker, I have taken out this thing that filmmaking is a never-ending process. What I feel like when you start from the pre-production and writing the story and the script, we tend to be more excited. Like this shot will take, that shot will take, that much gimbal, tripod, everything you'll use. So that's what, like, as a filmmaker, we have that excitement in our thing. I guess all the actors might know that the whatever everyone used to call it, what stick do you use? So it's called a gimbal, basically, to stabilize the camera. That gimbal is around 6.5 or like that kgs, and we had to carry it for like around 5-6 minutes altogether. Our electronic media captain is a weightlifter too. Thank you, KV. Yeah, now I think like I'm not less than Bahubali, that movie. So basically, that gimbal is very heavy, and like it's very hard for us. But the harder part for us was editing, the post-production part. Late night editing we had to do, and there is sometimes some parts where we have to retake the shot, or maybe we had to dub it. So basically, there was one day when I remember one night we were checking the clips, and there one clip came, and the audio was completely corrupted, and we couldn't use it. So directly I had to call all of my actors, Shubhajit, Kaustav, everyone, and all of them were almost half asleep. I had to call them late night around 2 o'clock. They came to media center, and I had to take into the music room, and they dubbed a whole clip. It's very nice for them to see the dedication in the actors also, and I could see the expression in their faces. Obviously, when they were sleeping, and out of nowhere during 2 o'clock, you have to shout, cat and mouse, and that's something I really admire of them. And my second editor, Shiansh, also, he had helped me a lot in this process, and it's a cumulative process of the Media Center and Dramatics team that the Eplay was such a good success, I think. Thank you. Yes, exactly, Bornam. Cheers to our efforts. Shubhajit, in our daily life at AVS, we see the 4 core values regularly, right?
Yes, Costa, you're absolutely right. And in the making of the Eplay, the 2 most important core values that stuck out the most were pursuit of excellence and resilience. Though the circumstances were such, we were resilient and we wanted to excel in our field, and we did that. And we can just see how these 2 core values complement each other so well, and we just showed that anything can be done because we made a 55-minute long Eplay in just 15 days.
And the integrity and respect, the another 2 core values, can be derived from this kind of dedication only, isn't it?
Absolutely, Costa, you're absolutely right. And I've been doing plays since class 7, and I can just see that it is a wonderful end to my tenure.
So Anushka, ever since you were in class 6, you never had the courage to pursue art like the other Anushka. But this year, after seeing Anushka, you Anushka did it. And then Anushka, huh?
What?
Kaustav, which Anushka are you talking about?
This confusion. Anushka, you. Barua, I'm sorry.
Ah, okay. So, what was your question to me?
What was my question? Yes, I remember. You told me once. This Founders is special to you. Please tell us why.
Why? Because this Founders, I did something which I've always wanted to do, but I never had the courage to do it. Ever since class 6, I wanted to draw and paint and be a part of, like, not the art exhibition, but just have the courage to pick up that paintbrush and paint something. So after 6 years, finally this year I've done it. So that means a great deal to me.
Congratulations, Anushka. I'm so happy for you. I was so glad to see you at the exhibition this time, and I really enjoy the memories we made late night trying to get those paintings done just before Founders.
Yay, my counterpart has done it.
Thank you, Kaustav. Thank you, Anushka. Also, I'd like to say to whoever is listening, especially if you're my juniors, then don't be scared to try something, even if it's really late in your life, because it's never too late to learn something new. You might not be like, it mightn't be so comfortable for you at first, but later at least you won't have that regret that, oh my god, I've always wanted to play the piano, but the others were so advanced, I never had the guts to try. So if you want to do something, just go for it.
Okay, so with this note of enlightenment by Anushka, I thank both the Anushkas.
Thank you.
To everyone listening till now, thank you. We have come to the end of the first episode of the first ever AVS podcast. Kostov, we did introduce a lot of new things in this school, didn't we?
Yes, from the very first phase of our tenure, so we have been believing in one thing, only one thing. Challenges and new ideas, innovations go hand in hand. We believe in that. And that's what we have been doing so far. And in the near future also, we hope that this new concept of AVS Podcast, this new platform will go on and it will grow in the community. And it's a new form of engagement for all the aviators, teachers also, staff, other staff members. So I really mean that, and thank you everyone.
So that was the boys cultural captain of our school. Wow. Before we end this, I would just like to thank Arjadeep and Mr. Benjamin for working behind the scenes and on the scene. And yes, so we have come to the end. Have a good night, have a good morning, have a good evening, and bye.